another edition of the Cavalier Connection Podcast. We have a special edition for you, which we will get into soon. But really quick, before we get to our Minter's ad read, Jay, we got multiple special guests on tonight, but we have one that's on the screen right now. You want to introduce them?
So yeah, normally we have two lows and a Ballard, and tonight we got two Ballards and a low. We got my brother Robbie. We often refer to him on the show as 2.0.
Right.
That comes from our fantasy football league that has affectionately named him that. But yeah, happy to have you, Robbie. You excited to join? How you feeling?
Oh yeah, a little bit of the first time jitters, but I'm excited to always talk about UVA sports. So
we're really excited to have you. Really excited to have you. We also have Cardiac Who's coming on. We're gonna get to talk to them. But before we do that, we have our Minter's ad read. As always, Jay, I can smell the barbecue on the grill walking past the tailgates. I can see the freshly painted end zones of Scott Stadium. Thunderstruck hits, and here come the Who's. But wait, Jay, what am I wearing? You've got about 5 weeks to get your game day wardrobe in order. Wahoos, don't delay. Kickoff is August the 30th at 6 p.m., and Minter's UVA Imprinted Sportswear has everything you need to look the part. Stop by the corner, Stonefield, or visit Minters.com. Gear up because football is almost here. And joining us now, big time on UVA Twitter, Cardiac Who's. We have all three of them tonight. We're going to get all of them to introduce themselves really quick before we get rolling. We got a lot of UVA baseball talk tonight, some UVA football as football season is very quickly approaching. Excited to have all three of you on tonight. Ben, you want to start us off? Introduce yourself. I'm sorry. I don't know if Ben's hearing us. Sean, how about yourself?
Hey guys, it's Sean, part of the Cardiac Who gang. Happy to join y'all. I think me and Jay had talked last year during football season, chatting about what it was like starting the UVA podcast. Here we are about to start season 2 for us. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Mills, how about you?
Yeah, like, as Sean said, part of the Cardiac Who's. I do it a lot of the Twitter through X, actually you call it. But
big on Twitter.
I know apparently a small world. Know Robbie and Jay from my hometown, so kind of small world.
Awesome. Yeah, we got Southampton Academy, and Franklin all covered tonight. So we should get plenty of hits from the 757 on this episode.
There
I hope.
Go. Yep, absolutely. Hopefully we'll be able to get Ben back in here in a minute. But while we're waiting on him, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about baseball because obviously a lot of stuff has changed over the last few months. You have a coaching change, lots of transfers. I'm going to start with you, Sean. Is there any player that you're most excited to see in the orange and blue this season for baseball?
Well, there's a lot of good guys coming in, and props to Coach Pollard for bringing in some good athletes. Mine is Frank Willis from Cal Lutheran. He's a versatile arm. He can come out of the bullpen. He can start. Had some really strong numbers. 3-2 record when he was starting. Sub-3 ERA with 35 innings, 3 saves along the way, and then in those relief appearances, 58 Ks and only 14 walks. So, very versatile. I love a good arm coming out the bullpen. 6'4" lefty, can't beat it. Kind of like Chris Sale. So, good race.
That's a great comparison. I love to hear the comparison. Mills, how about yourself?
Man, I got really two. I couldn't narrow down. So one is Aiden Harris, because he was the number 1 Virginia kid last year, and he stayed. So that was like big props. And with Luke Hansen going on to the draft, he's gonna, I think, fill that role at the third base. And he's a solid kid, and he's having a great summer right now. And the other one is a high school kid, Noah Yonder, athlete kid up here near Richmond. Upper fastballs up to 97. Flip him from Duke to come to UVA. Surprised that O'Connor couldn't get him to come to UVA in the first place. So, to have him come in our backyard, so that's good.
Robbie, you want to chime in on this one?
Sure, yeah. My guy is another Duke guy, AJ Garcia. He was solid for them last year. He hit 293 with 15 home runs. And I was looking at the dimensions earlier today. The dish, is a little bit bigger, so maybe he finds some gaps and even get some more extra base hits. I think he could be a big addition out there.
Absolutely. So a lot of people, when it came to Coach Oak, very high expectations. You're looking to compete in Omaha every single year. Now you have Coach Pollard coming in here year 1, lots of transfers. What would y'all say is the ceiling for Coach Oak? You able to hear me, Ben?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I had to do a little room changing. So.
Yep.
I don't look like I'm in Bin Laden's cave anymore. So.
There you go. What would you say is the ceiling for the Virginia baseball this year, Ben? This coming
year? I mean, I think the ceiling, I think they just got to get back into the tournament this year. I think that's kind of the expectation there. I think kind of moving forward from that, just kind of, becoming that ACC powerhouse again. I mean, I think it just feels like we have been there, but did we live off a little bit off the clout from that national title for those past few years? So kind of like just a reset, get back into the tournament year one, I think is realistic to think, and start getting those recruits in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sean?
I don't want to put a ceiling on this team. I mean, when you look at what he's brought in, what commits he's flipped, I think we should have a high ceiling. I'm Ben's thinking the tournament. Yes, of course, we should be able to make the tournament. That's the UVA staple. I mean, the ceiling is the roof, as some people would say down in North Carolina.
Mills?
I think, let's host. I want to get back to hosting. I know last year we had high expectations coming in preseason 2. I think Baseball America has us preseason 9, 4 spots behind Mississippi State. We're always going to be looking at what they do because what Coach Oak is there. But I think hosting, getting back to a super regional, I mean, Coach Pollard went back-to-back with the Duke squad to super regionals. So I think that's kind of like where we need to get to and just get them over the hump and get back to Omaha.
Yeah, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the ceiling is going back to the College World Series. I mean, the job he's done recruiting, the guys he's brought in, like from Duke. I mean, he's kept the team solid. Y'all were talking about the rankings, stuff like that. I'm always looking at Virginia rankings because, as Jay knows, we made a trip down to Florida State to watch Virginia football, and they put up 3 points. And it was a rough time in my Virginia Cavalier fanhood.
Yeah, I think that was like the 04 season. Maybe not have been. It was when Virginia started off. We were number 4 in the country playing. I think it was a Saturday night game. We left Richmond and drove straight to Tallahassee, went to the game, and we ended up having to tell people we had the orange fever when we were leaving the stadium.
All I remember is the chop, which was awesome, and Block at Sexton. Just chanting right.
Yeah. Jack, I didn't get a chance to talk on the players. I'm gonna talk a little bit on baseball with these, like you talked about Noah Yoder from is it Atlee that he's at?
Yeah, he's at Atlee.
Yeah, and then you got the Stroman kid. You got the guy we just interviewed. I don't know if you had a chance to watch but John Payon. My goodness, that dude. His personality is one that you just want to play for and play with. Touches 95, but he said his slider breaks anywhere from 12 to 22 inches.
Good gracious.
22 inches of diagonal. You talk about a sweeper. I mean, me and Robbie went to Baltimore and watched the Mets play when they had the lefty reliever, Robbie. Do you remember his name?
Feliciano.
Yeah, Pedro Feliciano. And I thought his sweeper was probably in that, and I can't imagine seeing that at the college game. But what do you think, and Mills, I'll start with you. What do you think the weakness will be for this team?
So it's a tough one, but starting rotations, we really don't know who's going to get the ball for that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think that's going to be a weak point. Also, it's always in UVA's pedigree, the middle relievers and that closer. We've never had that lockdown middle reliever closer, but I think Pollard's done a great job of bringing in pitchers, and I think, the first couple of weeks we're going to figure out who's going to be that rotation and those middle relievers. So I think that's where you got to look at as the true weakness.
Yeah. Sean?
I think we brought in the arms to hit some of those weaknesses. So hopefully the offense is going to be there to balance it out. I think that right now, that's what cost us a lot of wins last year. We couldn't get any offense going. And when you're losing games because you're not getting more than a couple hits, you look like the Braves right now. So hopefully the offense comes back alive next year.
Yeah, for sure. Ben, you got anything to add on that?
No, I mean, out of the three of us, those two guys are definitely the baseball guys in the group. But I think really it's just a whole fresh start, and it's really the biggest weakness is ultimately just going to be themselves if getting in their own way. I mean, there's a lot of talent here, and I think like last year we just got off to such a cold start. Let's get off the bench and let's hit the ground running. So I mean, I think just from if you pull back a little bit, I think it's just going to be an adjustment for current guys and new guys that are coming into a new school. So I think that's one of the biggest barriers that they're going to face. But I think once Pollard just has to get those guys ready, and ultimately I think that, like I said, or like these guys said, in terms of pitching and stuff like that, those are the big weaknesses that have plagued us over the past couple of years. So, just solving those issues. It's nice to get a new pitching coach in. So, I think that's kind of just it. It's just a whole new program, new thing. So I think that's kind of the biggest weakness that I can see from here.
It's interesting you say that. I always think about that with football and with basketball, but I hadn't really thought about that on the baseball side. And it's a lot of turnover, just like those other two have experienced. So that's a very, very good point. Robbie, what do you got?
Yeah, so my with that was pitching was the first thing that came to my mind. But as Ben said too, like you're getting new players in all the time now because of the transfer portal and all that stuff. And consistency is just going to be key. Like we started off cold, we just got to learn to mesh together. Baseball, you got to know what the other guy's going to do, and just like most sports. And when you don't stay together and you got players leaving, it's hard to get that bond. And so they just need to come out and be consistent.
What do you got, Jack?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with Robbie a lot. I think the talent's there, no question. The amount of transfers they've gotten some recruits too. Without a doubt, they should be competitive no matter what. Pollard's a good coach. They've got a great transfer class. The pitching, I think will be fine. It's always going to be iffy, but I think Robbie hit the nail on the head. You got to gel together. It's the same thing with football and basketball. You get all these transfers in here, and they've never played a game before. They don't put the pads on until the fall, and they play their week one game. And it's like, whoa, hold on. We're playing against an FCS school, and we haven't scored in the first quarter. The team just got to mesh together. They'll be fine. I think they should make the tournament. They should be just fine. I think definitely they got to mesh together. They got to gel. I think Robbie hit the nail on the head.
And I'll add on one more thing to that is we're also bringing back a true leader in Eric Becker. So, he's been there, and him coming back and not going in the draft was really big. Now, I really wish his brother had came, but you can't. You can't turn that money down. I'm just saying, second round kid, you can't turn it down. But I think with AJ and Becker, it's kind of going to be that same thing with Becker and Ford. You're going to get that production out of those two, and it starts with them. So I'm excited. I think Becker coming back is very big for us.
Yeah, Mills, and you actually kind of stole what I was going to say. I sit here, on July 24th. We don't play a game till February, but I'm like, who's going to get the ball on Friday night in the ACC opener? And I have absolutely no clue. It could very well be a first year. I think you got at least 3 kids in this first year class pitching wise who will be high draft picks when their careers at Virginia are over. So it'll be interesting.
I think it's I think it's gonna be interesting to see who they put in the catching role. We're talking a lot about pitching. Those guys are that conduit from the coach to the pitcher in terms of pitch calling. So it is going to be interesting to see how they fill that role there as well. I feel like.
And I don't know. I don't remember hearing this. Does Pollard call the game, or does the pitching coach call? Do you guys know the answer to that? Because I don't.
I believe it's Brady. I do think it's the pitching coach that calls the game. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is Brady.
Yeah, we've reached out and we've gotten a couple of responses. I think we'll be able to have one of the coaches on. That'd have to be something we ask. And it was funny. They had a recruiting class of 10 guys. 8 of them have committed to Virginia. One has stayed at Duke, and I think one took he told us where he went. Do you remember, Jack? It was one guy that stayed at Duke, though, in that whole class. And, now we've got the highest rated class in the ACC, number 6 in the country. Becker coming back, transfers coming in. I love this team. So I'm going to start this one off myself. Does the team make Omaha? And I'm saying yes. Jack?
I hope so. I'm going to say yes, too.
Mills?
Might as well. Omaha Hoos.
I love it. Love it.
All right, Ben?
I'm definitely the positive one in the group. Yeah, well, Sean here there, so yeah.
You're like me, Ben. I'm the positive.
I've got to hold the line here, so I'm with you guys.
All right.
Sean, you going to break our hearts?
No, I'll never root against the Who's. I'm the one who said on our show that we have a chance at the playoff in football. So, outside chance, outside. But yeah,
Right.
I think we have a really good shot at making Omaha. Mills is going, I think.
I love it. 6-0. I love it. Since we're talking about you mentioned playoffs in football, let's kind of transition to football. That's the more immediate. I think
that's what we care about most right now.
Yeah, I mean, Jack was just at the ACC Media Days, had the time of his life.
He did a good job out there. I got to say, some great questions.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
we'll have to play some of that audio on here in another episode for sure.
Yeah. So, Ben, what are your thoughts just overall on Coach Elliott, the job he's done so far? Where do you think he stands with the program? I see Sean grinning. This must be an answer that's going to be good.
I mean, I guess it's what day is it? I mean, Monday I'm feeling this way, and Tuesday I'm feeling that way about him. I don't know. It's such a complicated situation to unpack these past 3 years, and you kind of, you look back, okay, year one, everybody gets past year one. Year two, I don't want to, correlate that with a pass or an excuse, but, you had the tragedy and all these types of things. And then they were just so shallow last year. They were just so depleted, and that schedule was daunting to put it lightly. And so, I mean, I don't know. I think in terms of how I just view Elliott, as I think that, I think he's a good person. I think that he is a great motivator. He's keeping this locker room together from how I see it. I mean, it kind of got a little sour at the end of a little bit last year, maybe, but it does seem that he is inspiring to these guys in terms of how he keeps the locker room. So I definitely give him a lot of credit for that. But there's a lot on the line this year. There's a lot riding with the money that's been invested, the players that they've picked up this year, and some of the statements he's made on how they're going to handle the offense. So, and who's going to be making those play calls. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot on the line. I think he can be successful. I think this year is going to really be what we're going to get out of Elliott. I think after this year, you can definitively say what your opinion is about Elliott.
Hey, Jack, tell Ben the question I texted you to ask Coach Elliott. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Wait, you want me to ask Ben that?
No, I tell it because he's made a comment and he'll appreciate the question that I wanted you to ask Coach that you didn't.
He wanted me to ask Coach, is he going to take over the offensive play calling? And
well, that's a hot topic, isn't it? I mean,
it is. And I think Ratcliffe wrote an article the other day or earlier today that he will not be. So.
Yeah. I'm biting my lip here.
I had to get Mills to bed after he read that Jerry Ratcliffe article last night. But I mean, do you think he was just saying that because it's the press conference? He's not going to, I felt like he wasn't going to throw the OC under the bus.
Possible. I'll say this, and you've seen this with Virginia Tech and Brent Pry. They're in a very similar situation to us this year where it's a make or break year for Brent Pry. Otherwise, he's going to be out of town. And he's taking over the play calling at Tech. And I think that's sort of a last resort situation. When your job is on the line, you want to be in control of what's happening on the field. You don't want somebody else calling the plays with your job on the line. And Brett Pry recognized that, and he said, okay, I'm going to take control this year, and he's going to go down with his job, or he's going to stay with the Hokies for all we know. So that's why I think it's a great question with Elliott. I mean, hey, your tail is on the line this year. If you don't produce however many wins, we'll get into that later, you're gone. So I feel like if you're Elliott, you want to take control. At least if you go down, you had control over it almost. So
yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like I said, I think you could have answered that question a lot differently, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mills, what were you saying about Coach Elliott now? What are your thoughts?
Well, have you ever listened to our first episodes? I was not the biggest fan about how it started. Just, Sean and Ben kept me from jumping off the ledge. It's just, you were there. I remember when my sister cheered at UVA, like we were beaten. We were a top 25 team, and now we're struggling. I think his record's 11-23.
Yeah,
it's like and then what Ben says with the aspect of like you're not going to take over the play calling. Like what has Des done for us? Like we're 11-23. Like you won 2 national titles at Clemson. Why aren't you taking the play calling? Let's see what you can do here. I think he's a great guy. Clearly he's kept the team together since that tragedy, but this is make or break. And I hate to say it, we'll probably get to it, but you have to win games this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Sean?
There's not much more to be said except for with the comment, does he not feel that the seat is hot? Because like you said, Jack, the first step of like taking control of your team and understanding you're about to get fired is when you take over play calling. And he said, "Oh, we'll talk about it on Sunday." I feel like that's too hands off. As a offensive guy, we were excited for him because he was an offensive coordinator, like Mill said, with Clemson, a powerhouse program, and he's not even touching the offense. He's just trying to be the mastermind of everything. And clearly, we'll get into Dez, but that's not working, and he needs to take control. I would love to see it. I was more frustrated that he didn't start doing it last year, but he should have done, like you said, with Brent Pry already making the decision to make the call the plays. Should have been the same thing Tony Elliott was doing.
I agree. It's kind of crazy when you look at the timeline because both these coaches, Virginia Tech, Virginia, were hired the same year, and they've both had I'm not going to say similar results because Sexton has had more successful, and they've beaten us all 3 of those years, or 2 out of 3 because they didn't play the first year. But now here they are going into year 4, both on the hot seat. Neither of them has really produced the results that their team wants, and it's kind of crazy how the timeline just really matches up.
I'm gonna give you a segue here, Robbie. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, just a second. In that, we talked to Tyler Neville at the end of the season, so before he signed with Dallas, and he did say, because if you listen to our show, we're not the biggest supporters of Coach Kitchens. We love Coach Elliott, but we a lot like y'all. We feel, we wish he was a little more hands-on with the offense. But, Neville defended him, and I kind of thought it would be a chance to have some validation. And it was more like, well, what y'all don't really see is, one player misses an assignment, this play that would have gone for a touchdown. Yep. We miss one block. We drop one pass. We didn't execute. It wasn't the coaching. And, he kind of – now, any player is going – I feel like, especially a high-character guy like Tyler Neville, is going to do what he does. But that is the other side of the coin. There is some level of truth to – like, for instance, like the play, it was the play. It was very end of the game. I can't remember if it was Louisville or whatever, but it was a pass in the corner. It was a difficult catch, but if we make the catch in the end zone, we win the game. It's a tough call.
Robbie? I mean, I think the crazy stat was, weren't we winning 9 of the 12 games? That was leading at some point, 9 of the 12 games.
Elliott said that in his opening statement and ACC kickoff, and it's true. This is also the same for not last year, but the year before as well. We led so many of those football games. We almost beat ranked Louisville on the road. We ended up beating ranked UNC on the road. We did not. I'm not going to say that, but we competed in a lot of games the year before. We really battled in a lot of games last year. It's just those 1 or 2 plays that make the difference in the game. We didn't make the plays most of those games. The only games we really did was the Pitt game and the Boston College game, where we made the 1 or 2 plays to get the close win.
Yeah, but the back half was a murderer's row. We're not.
Correct.
We couldn't compete with those
Correct.
teams. I can't hold.
Absolutely.
I can't hold those blowouts against him as much as I would. Kind
I
of
agree.
like to.
I agree.
Hey, Robbie, how do you feel about Coach Rudd? I mean, we were just talking about we were leading those games. Do you feel like we lost it on the defensive end? Or, we were winning those games?
I don't know. I think like y'all were saying, everybody has a job out there, and just that one play or one guy doesn't make his assignment. It really can turn the tide of the game. Like y'all were talking about everything being close. Just people have to do their job, and like Jay was saying, the high character route is to not put the coach down, but I mean, at some point, it becomes his responsibility too. And I would like, I was thinking when Elliott came in that, he had a lot of success at Clemson and stuff. And, I was hoping for some of that success. And I don't know. We'll see. I think the defense does have some guys that can make plays. I mean, we had a guy drafted last year or this year in the draft, and we just need more guys like him that can make plays and stuff.
Yeah. So we'll get a little bit more into the coaching staff later, and as far as goals and what we need to see out of Elliott this year to keep his job and blah 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 blah. Great transfer class. Some guys that returned that we really didn't expect to return. Looking like a really good roster. I'm going to go to each one of you about some players that you guys are really excited to see, whether it's on the offensive side, the defensive side. We'll start with you, Robbie. What are some players that you're really ready to see, whether it's a return or a transfer?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the obvious one is at quarterback. You got Chandler Morris coming in from North Texas. And, it'll be interesting to see what we can do. We got quite a few QBs in there that could see time. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Then for defense, you got Cam Robinson.
Yes.
I'd love to see him step up and, build off of last year. And, he's that player that I think can, he can lead that defense from the linebacker position, So those are some players I'm excited to see.
Yeah. Sean, you got some?
I've got two. So I went on the transfer side. I'm talking two guys that come in with experience. I like Mitchell Melton from Ohio State, coming off the national championship. I think that was a good pickup for us. And as well as Brady Wilson, offensive line, brings us some depth in the trenches. Again, a bunch of experience. So I think those are two places where we really have seen a big focus on, and I'm excited to see how that plays out for us.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about Mitchell because he was at ACC kickoff. I had a conversation with him. First of all, that guy is huge in person. He is huge. He is built. I'm not ready to play as an offensive lineman on that guy. He will be powering through some O-lines this year, first off. And second off, it's really interesting because people forget how crazy the transfer portal is. The transfer portal is happening during the playoffs. So when he was going to practice and practicing for the playoffs for Ohio State, he would go home, hop on Zoom calls with coaches, trying to figure out where he was going to go to school. And I guess he talked to Coach Elliott many times, multiple days, like after practices, late at night or early in the morning, when Coach Elliott was recruiting him. And I guess he knew that was the place. But it's crazy how all this is going on during the playoffs. Like, you're preparing for one of the biggest games of your life, but you don't know where you're going to school next year. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, what I was trying to get at is that guy is huge, and I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with as well. Ben, you got anything?
Yeah, I think I heard my name, but
yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel the same way about Chandler Morris. I mean, I'm hoping he can catch lightning in a bottle twice. I mean, and I felt last year it was so hard to evaluate the quarterback position. Was it the O-line, or was it the quarterback, or was it just a mixture of both? And I think he can make the throws that we need to make. And I'm just going to kind of lump the offensive line as a whole and the depth that we got out of the transfer portal. I'm pretty excited to see if we can turn the tide. And, that we have a guy who can make the throws. We have the line that can protect them. Can this offensive come together? That's really what I want to see out of that. I am on the defensive side. I'm really curious to see if Hunter Osborne is what he is. I mean, is this the place for him to shine and for us to be excited about him and watch him grow? Because we have a lot of years of eligibility out of him as well. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with Hunter Osborne because he, on paper, looks like a monster to bring into this defensive line. But we have a lot of depth at defensive line as well. You got some returners in Anthony Britton, who looked really good last year. Jason Hammond, who is young and has some potential. Jameer Carter, who's in his 18th year as a Cavalier. It's going to be really interesting.
I think these rookie these freshman wide receivers that came in was probably the most exciting thing I saw in the spring game. So
yeah,
we may get a flash in the pan. We may get to see something out of that. So
yeah, for sure. Mills, you want to chime in?
I mean, jumping into it. So a little bit backstory. I'm a JMU grad, so I had to go with my boy Cam Ross. I just think he also is going to be good on special teams, like kick returner, punt returner. Like he did it all at JMU, and he took a couple back to the house. So he's quick, he's speed, and then kind of like Robbie said, Cam Robertson. You can ask Sean and Ben. I told them every week, this guy's hitting the portal. He's grabbing his bag. He's going to get his money. He's out of here. And Sean is. I'm like, no, man, he's here. He's with us. And I was like, nah, he's grabbing his money. He's out of here. And, proving me wrong, he stayed. And that's what I was excited about, Cam Robertson staying.
Yeah, for sure.
Mills, you mentioned special teams. He's no Franklin alumni, UVA alumni, special teams expert like Daniel Childress, probably.
Daniel Childress. Hey, you know what? You needed someone to take out somebody. Daniel Childress was your guy.
There you go.
He was great. Yeah.
Former Chicago Bear, right?
That's
No, you're thinking
Childress.
Who am I thinking
He's
of?
the kid from Windsor.
Isle of Wight Academy. Daniel
Oh,
Childress
Isle of
yeah,
Wight Academy.
and then walked on to UVA.
Mhm.
No, he walked on at was it Carolina or JMU? I think it was Carolina.
So yeah, Daniel Childress, he was just a stud at Franklin, and he walked on at UVA, and he was a huge linebacker. I think he graduated in 06 from Franklin.
Yeah, so I'm gonna transition to the big guys I want to talk about, and that's Billy Kudelka and Fisher Kamak. I mean, they're two monsters, on the edge, 6'8", 6'7". Fisher actually had 3 sacks in the bowl game for his previous school against an ACC school. It was a Cal or Stanford they played in the bowl game. I can't remember. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on where he came here. I was going to say Fresno State, but I think that was the other D lineman. But anyway, they're both going to get after the pass rush, get into the pass rush. Kudelka had, 4 sacks in the spring game, 3 sacks in the spring game. Now, granted, those were just touch sacks. Like, they're not taking anybody down to the ground. But, Mitchell Melton's in the way of playing time. I don't know how much time, Kudelka will get. But he looks like, he was a lacrosse guy like Kearney. And, I could see a similar path for him.
Really quick for me, I'm also really excited for this offensive line. I mean, the amount of depth that is on this offensive line this year, they were talking about the other day. I mean, there's talks of we'll be able to rotate 6 to 7 guys throughout the games. And, I mean, one of the biggest issues was our injuries last year to the offensive line. The idea of having this much depth and also having a guy like Jamari Taylor and Xavier Brown in the backfield, I think we're going to be able to run the football this year. I think that's what Des Kitchens ultimately wants. That's what he's been trying to do for the last couple of years. Hasn't been too successful. We've got a great offensive line, a lot of depth at it. Jamari Taylor looked like a stud in the spring game, was absolutely outstanding at North Carolina Central. And we saw what Xavier Brown did while he was healthy last year as well. So I think running the football could be really dangerous. And then obviously there's the easy answers. Chandler Morris. I mean, who isn't excited to see that guy in the backfield for Virginia? Who isn't excited to see Hunter Osborne, Mitchell Milton for sure? Yeah. But I'm ready to see us run the ball a little bit potentially.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited also. I mean, we talk about Chandler Morris, but I mean, Daniel Kalen, I mean, that's just exciting to know that he's back there.
Fast. He's really fast. I really wonder if Elliott would be willing to put him in like a read option situation or just anything to move. Because I mean, that guy had wheels on him in the spring game.
Right. Little package, little Tim Tebow package,
little Heisman package. Get Morris and Kalen out there in the same package.
The funny thing is, Kalen doesn't even see himself as a mobile quarterback.
I know.
He sees himself as pocket passer, but he definitely looked to have some wheels in the spring game.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping we're not getting flushed out the pocket like we were every single.
Yeah. Let's just not run out of bounds before the line of scrimmage.
I was going to say, I'm also hoping we don't take a sack 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage because we just ran out of bounds. But
shout out to AC.
Hey, AC's doing his thing in the UOV right now. He's living a great life.
That's right.
Living in Vegas. Robbie, you want to go with the next question for us?
Sure. Number 8, at the end of the year, who do y'all think was going to be ranked higher? Do you think the offense or the defense is going to be looking stronger?
I'll take a stab at this one. I'm going to go offense. I think we got more power.
I think it's tough. I mean, I think that the offense is going to be better. They have to be better than last year. I mean, if not, we're just for a long season. But I think a lot has been asked about whether they're going to be able to run a lot different schemes with the personnel that they brought in on the defensive side of the ball. And if Coach Rudd is going to be able to play a little more, less conservatively, like he had to, because he didn't have that secondary support. So I know that's still an emphasis of weakness, maybe, is the secondary with the injuries that we've had in this off season so far. But it's going to be interesting to see if these guys, if there's going to be some more wrinkles, and if we can get to the quarterback, because I felt like we couldn't send the guys like we did last year. Or I'm hoping we could send the guys unlike last year because we had to play back. But it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I think offense has a lot of potential, but let's hope defense. Let's hope both, man. Really.
A lot of new secondary too. That's something that none of us touched on as far as players we're excited to watch. We have so many new people in that secondary. We have a couple injuries, Dre Walker, J.M. Jackson, obviously, but we have a lot of new guys in that secondary, that safety position. It's going to be really interesting to see what kind of packages Radzinski's going to want to throw out there, whether he's going to want to go send more pressure since now we have more personnel, like you were just saying, Ben, or play back a little bit. I mean, even if we don't send a lot of pressure, I feel like that defensive line is still going to be really talented to be able to get through. It's going to be interesting. I'm ready to see what Radzinski's going to do.
Yeah, I think the defense is definitely going to be improved, but I still have to stick with the offense as well. I mean, we were the top 10U for the longest time, and recently, we've had so much success with wide receivers, and you talked about running the ball. I'd love to see us get back to the days of like Thomas Jones and stuff where we just pounded them. Which, I mean, I think the potential is there. You got that upgraded line, and hopefully they can open up some holes. Having that ability to pass and run, it helps us because it keeps the other teams on their feet, and they just can't play deep, or they can't load up the box on you. It keeps them guessing. So it really could be an interesting year. And I mean, I think the schedule, it's a little light, at the beginning. But
you can say a little more than a little.
We'll see. Well, I mean, you noticed I was hesitant saying that, but we'll see. I mean, because it seems like one of those teams always ends up trying to upset us, So, yeah.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to say just pure belief in Coach Rudd over Coach Kitchens. I believe Coach Rudd is an excellent defensive coordinator, and I believe that the jury is still out. In a nice way, is a nice way of putting it, because I might have to see Coach Kitchens at some point, and I'm gonna say he hasn't had the weapons. Well, he's had some weapons. He hasn't had the offensive line, so this will be a telltale year. But I know Coach Rudd can coach. I have a belief that he will take these weapons, and I think we're going to have a really highly ranked defense at the end of the year.
Yeah. So, do y'all think? What do you think it's going to take for Coach Elliott keep his job this year?
So if I could jump in, I was asking Mills if he thought that this year, because the beginning of this is probably our easiest schedule we've had in quite some time. Yeah. And if we might get sold a little bit of fool's gold with Elliott, because I do think we could be successful. I do think that we can get the wins, and some of those wins may be a little misleading in whether he should stay or not. I'm not sure, but that's maybe just food for thought for you guys to think about sometime. But in terms of what I feel like he needs to do to stay, I mean, I don't even think 6-6 cuts it, to be honest with you.
I don't think so either.
I think there has to be more. I mean, if it's 6-6 with some really big wins and close football games, maybe. But
I was going to say, Ben, let me ask you this: what about 6-6 and a Tech win?
So we love playing this game. I think we text this question every other day. But I guess he could stay another year if we beat Tech.
So we put a poll up on Twitter probably a week or so ago, and it was like, if we get 5 wins, we know he's gone. If we get 7 wins, we pretty much know he stays. But if you get 6, like, what do you do? And the consensus was if he beats Tech, basically, he'd probably get another year. But 6-6 alone with a Tech loss, I don't believe that Carla will make the decision to move on, because I think you can make the case that, okay, he went from 3 wins, 5 wins, 6 wins. He's increased every year. And I'm not making this case. I'm just saying Dr. Williams
I
can make
this case. What you're saying, because I've mentioned this.
Well, I'm gonna finish one thing, Jack, and then step in.
Go for it.
But because if you let him go, you got to pay. You're asking people for money to pay the players. Now you're asking people for money to fire the coach, because you're going to pay him whatever you owe him, and then you got to ask for more money to pay the new coach, and it's going to be a whole lot cheaper. Just like a wife, it's going to be cheaper to keep her. It's going to be cheaper to keep him.
Yeah, I was just going to mention. I mentioned this in my article the other day. Carla Williams seems all in on Coach Elliott. In my opinion, it just seems like all signs point to she believes in him, and I don't see her making the change with 6-6. I'll say this from a fan's perspective. I think if we go 6-6 and we lose that last Tech game, I think all the fans are going to want him gone. And I hate to say including myself, but I think when you lose to Tech, especially if it's like a blowout loss, I think the last 2 years, those just blowout. I guess last year was pretty much a blowout too. After those games, you're just like down in the dumps as a fan. Like, you lose to Tech again, it feels like you're back to rock bottom, back to square one, like nothing improved in the season. And the fans are going to be out on him, because this fan base is just desperate, absolutely desperate to beat Virginia Tech, beat them consistently, at least compete consistently. And if he doesn't do that, I mean, this is 3 years in a row now. Like, how many more chances are we going to give him? But I do believe AD Carla Williams is very all in on him. I think 6-6, she'll let him stay. 5-7 with a Tech loss, though, might be gone.
I mean, we got to see something with the money we're getting. A alleged $20 million roster, you have to be all in. But like you said, Jack, I don't know if she might be all in, but does she have enough to fire him at the end of the year if it is a 6-6 and a Tech loss? She's got to get the pulse of the fans and understand that 6-6 and a Tech loss isn't going to sit well with anybody. The fans in the stands are going to be mad, and if we see more Tech fans on our field this year, I'm going to have to go down there myself and have some words, because it's not going to be fun.
You always got the sprinklers on your side, Sean.
Yeah, you got to turn them on. Flip on the Rainbird app. Let's go.
There's nothing more depressing than watching that time tick down and Tech winning, and you see the Tech fans take the – this is what I mean. Like, those long car rides home from Scott Stadium after a blowout Tech loss, there's nothing worse. And I'm tired. I'm really tired of it.
I have the picture of their fans on our field just as a memory to be like, yeah, we don't want this ever again.
Right. So for this, we're going to break out the crystal ball. We're together again. It's July 24th of 26. Is Coach Elliott the coach? And if he is, why? And if he isn't, give me the scenario that let him go. We'll go across the bottom. We'll go Ben, Sean, Mills, and then up to Robbie. Jack, you bring us on.
All right.
So is he the coach? If not, why? Or if so, why? Is that the question?
Yep.
So, I think he's going to hang around, and I think it goes back to, I think he legitimately is in good situation to go at least 500 this year. And so that's, again, he's got progress on his side. I think that Carla is really into the culture of the program that he's built as well. And I think that, like you said, a lot of money's been spent. I think it's going to be hard with 1 year. If there's just 1 year left to rip off that financial Band-Aid. But, I mean, it definitely carries a high risk of retaining him because, I mean, they've got to maintain those donations in to keep these players in and whatnot. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing, but I'm just going to lean towards they're going to play it conservatively. And, Mills plays this little fantasy game in his head where, like, he's like, well, maybe, we'll go 6-6 and Des will just get picked off by some other program and then the hard decision doesn't have to be made. So, maybe a scenario like that pops up, but I don't know. What about you?
You were going to say he had a dream of Nick Saban coming to Virginia.
Hey, I'm all in.
I think he's going to be there next year. One, I don't think Carla has I don't think she's got it in her to fire somebody. And it's going to be tough, especially in the Big Three program. So everybody's left her. She hasn't had to fire anybody. Winning cures all. I really believe in this roster. I really think we bolstered every single weakness that we had last year, both in the trenches, our defensive side of the ball, with what Jack said, the edge rushers we got. I really think this roster is poised, and we spent a lot of money to lose. And if we lose, I mean, I don't see us losing. I think we're going to have a good 7-5, possibly 8-4 year, and I think he'll be there next year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that he is there. If it is 6-6, I think Carla asked him to get rid of Dez and bring someone new in. But I think if it's 7-5, we're talking about this next April and about. I just think what Sean said. You spent $20 million on this roster. You have to win. The fans are ready for us to win. I mean, I think y'all made a post the other night, or y'all were live, and I think I asked, like, do you think the season tickets that are gaining are Tech fans? Like, that's the big rumor that Tech fans buy season tickets so they can get the Tech game.
Right.
But I think this is the year, because if you don't win, then you really have put the faith in the fans, or it's going to go away. Like, you're going to be set back for another 4 or 5 years because no one's going to have faith.
It's going to take a Saban to bring the excitement back.
Correct. Or an Urban Meyer. Bring an Urban Meyer in. Somebody just reckless,
Just keep him out of Chili's or something.
Kelly. Robbie?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I think they have the potential to be much improved. This will be the deciding year, really, though, for me on Elliott. I was the same way with Bronco. I wasn't big on him at first, but I was starting to like him, and then, he stepped down and left. It's the same way with Elliott. I haven't been crazy with him, from the get-go. And this year, with the roster we have and the improvements, we definitely should be improved and have a better season. And I'll go ahead and say it, maybe we do make a bowl game, So wishful thinking.
If we don't make a bowl game, Elliott will not be here next year. Be anyways. With that being said, yes, I believe he will. There's no excuse anymore. Absolutely no excuse. You have this very, very good roster, a lot of money spent. You've got a very easy schedule. You don't play any of the top ACC, but your top opponents are at Louisville, at UNC, FSU at home on a Friday night, Tech. I mean, you have a very, very easy schedule. You play the California schools. There's no excuse anymore. You have the roster to do it. You've been building this up, and this is what he's been saying too. I've been building this up. Me and my staff have been planning this to let this build up to this moment, and this is our year. No more excuses. And if not, he's gone. If he doesn't win 6 games, gone. I do truly believe that this team will, at the very minimum, go 7-5. I think 8-4 is very possible too.
I'm gonna say it was something I think it was Sean that mentioned earlier. Hey, and we've talked about this a little bit. people will look at you like you got three heads. But when you look at that schedule, if you beat NC State in week 2, then you beat Florida State at home Friday night, you're 4-0, 5-0. What team are you looking at thinking, well, we'll definitely lose that game? Not a daggone one. I mean, Louisville on the road, I think, is the toughest game on the schedule.
I agree.
But and aside from that, I mean, I think Duke will be pretty good.
Every single game is winnable. Every game is winnable.
UNC with Belichick, if you gave me 100 chips to put on UNC, like how their season's going to go, I think I'd put about 55 on them. On it just blows up, like and not in a good way. Like it just goes south, and he's out within a year. Retired again, maybe 2. Maybe he turns over to his son or something. But I could see that situation being terrible. So then where's the game you're going to, I mean, again, I look at this team. Our offensive line is strong. Our defensive line is strong. We have weapons. Nobody mentioned Jamal Edron, stud on the outside. Trell Harris, I love that kid. I mean, the way he started last year, electric. And then you're talking about the freshman, Josiah Abdullah. Twitty in the middle. The defense. I'm looking at this team and I'm like, are you, is it crazy to say you're a playoff like dark horse? If I could put $10
Indiana
on
did it last year.
I don't know what the odds are, but I'm sure they're long. and I'd be willing to place a very small wager that I would bet a small wager we win 9 games. I'll say that. And then maybe if you get to 10, if you get lucky, you're at least in the discussion with 10 wins, I think. 10 or, maybe you don't get in, but you're in the discussion.
You're in the top 25.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's pretty much all we got one more for you guys. We want to make one more prediction for the 2025 football season. I'm going to go to each of you. What's your one prediction? Whether it's a win total, whether it's maybe a stat, I don't know. Ben, we're going to start with you.
Go ahead, Mills. Come back to me. Let me think about that for a minute.
I don't know. Jay just got me really fired up, and I'm a betting man, and Sean and Ben are gonna eat me alive after this on our first day of our podcast. All right, bold prediction. Here we go. 9 wins. I'm just saying, here's our loss.
Is this the same Mills?
Yes.
He's never said 9 wins.
So I'm going to say 9 wins, and the losses are Louisville. I'm going to say we're going to lose something like Wake Forest. It's going to be something like,
I will cry if we lose that game.
I know, but it's going to be that's what happens,
Yeah.
But 9 wins. I'm predicting. Jay got me fired up. I was going to say that my other bold prediction was we were going to go 6-6, and Dez was going to be packed his bags. But I'm going to be positive.
That's not bold. That's just likely to happen. Mine is I think we sneak into the top 5, possibly top 4 of the ACC. I mean, even if we get to that 9 or 10 win total, we make top 2, top 3 in the ACC. So the ACC overall, you look at the bottom. When you look at the easiest schedule or the lowest ranked teams, a lot of the cellar of ACC is in there. So I think it's definitely our chance to break into that top 5, top 4. So, again, there's not a lot to say we don't have on this roster.
Yep, agree.
I'm going to get a little abstract here just to have some fun with it. Florida State is going to just have another miserable year, and my prediction is that we're going to be the final nail in the coffin for Norvell, and he's going to be out. So we're going to get him fired. That's my prediction.
Awesome. Norvell fired after the Virginia-Florida State game.
I've got to say, other than the last Tech win we had, that was one of the funnest games I've ever been to in quite a while. Was that Florida State game last time they were in
2019?
Yeah, I mean Sean was really entertaining too, but the game was a lot of fun. It was just the atmosphere was just an awesome game.
That was an awesome Saturday night kickoff. That was awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, the 2 most unpredictable teams in the entire country this year, North Carolina and Florida State. Nobody knows how Florida State's gonna be with Tommy Castellanos over there. And only the Lord himself knows about Bill Belichick. Robbie, you want to give us your prediction?
Yeah, so I think I already kind of touched on one of them here for a little bit. I think we'll have a good season, but I do think we lose one of those games early on to somebody that we shouldn't. It's
supposed to be a positive show, Robbie.
As a Virginia,
I'm kidding.
Bad things happen.
Yeah,
so
Robbie.
I think we lose one of those games, but I think we have a good season, and I think it's our year to beat Tech.
I love it.
I'll throw myself in the.
Oh, go ahead, bro. Go, Mills.
I was gonna say I did that last year. I said, yeah, but we should watch out for Coastal Carolina.
We got a clip of it.
We have a clip of me saying
it. We have the clip. He was all about the Sun Belt. He's got that JMU loyalty. Oh, how about Coastal? How about watch out for Coastal?
I'm gonna be a very sad man. Very sad man. Jay, what do you got?
So I guess I don't think this is that bold, but it may be. The last game of the year in Virginia Tech. 1, it's a sellout. 2, we're favored to win the game when we come around in Vegas. And 3, we win the game. That's it.
By how much? By how much, Jay?
7 or more.
7.5. All right. Mark it down now. Jay has all 3 of those going for us. Well, Cardiac Who's, we want to appreciate all of you for coming on for us tonight. Really quick, if one of you wants to take a stab at plugging your socials, where everybody can find you guys.
Yeah, Cardiac Who's at Cardiac Who's on X, and we're on Spotify for our podcast. Try to drop every Thursday when the season starts.
Awesome. Great to have you guys on. Great conversation about UVA baseball and football. That's going to wrap us up for tonight. Please be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Go subscribe to Cardiac Who's as well. Go follow everybody on X. We're Talk UVA Sports on X and the Facebook Cavalier Connection and YouTube. And that's going to wrap it up for us.
Plug the website, Jack. You got to plug the website.
TheCavalierConnection.com. Yes, be sure to go visit TheCavalierConnection.com. You guys got to do the outro with us. What we say at the end of every episode. Go Who's.
Go Who's.